Oh my God, we are finally here. Welcome everybody to the Lassonde Engineering Podcast, Influx. Um, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad I signed up for this, and I'm sure the other people here are too. Uh, yeah, this is just firstly just to start off. We're just gonna introduce ourselves, our name, background, why we chose engineering, what made us choose York, and as well as what made us decide to do this podcast. So I'll start. My name is Keandre Webb. I'm Jamaican. I'm a computer engineer, and I decided to do engineering because I've always been fascinated with computers at such a young age. I remember like screwing around with Ubuntu and Windows XP when I was little. Taught myself how to code just a little bit. It's something I always knew I wanted to do, and I chose York. Honestly, predominantly for proximity because it's super close to my house. There's a bus literally going straight to York from Bramley Terminal, Brampton, from where I live. But I'm really glad I chose here because it's just such a great university. And I decided to do this podcast because I'm a chatterbox, and why not be a chatterbox for the Lassonde Engineering Society, right? Jaden, why don't we go to you?
What? Oh, okay. My name is Jaden. I'm a podcast editor. I'm in second year computer engineering, and I'm looking forward to editing the podcast for you fellas.
Okay. Well, my name is Mustafa. I'm a fifth year mechanical engineering student at York University. I'm a podcast producer, and I don't think Keandre mentioned that, but he is this as well. We just saw the notice up for the podcast, thought it'd be a good, interesting opportunity, decided to come. I chose mechanical engineering as my particular engineer because I like to learn how things are built and how things work. And it's really cool, like being able to wrap my head around how normal, common things that everyone takes for granted, like cars, and that's a very common example for a mechanical engineering student, but still, like, just learning the exact reason how a car runs and the complicated system that runs into an engine that makes that car run, that millions of people, billions of people use on a daily basis, is just really interesting to me. So I'll pass it on to our guest.
Hi, my name is Sachin. I am a third year electrical engineering student. I am from Trinidad. Uh, the reason I chose electrical engineering is because Nikola Tesla was a very big inspiration to me as a child. Along with the reason I chose York is because I believe York has a very good cultural diversity, inclusion, equity. They have such a good mix of people and programs, and yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's everybody.
Wait. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
I forgot to say why I chose York. Okay, so UFT seemed too hard, and Ryerson they put me on a waiting list. I didn't get into there.
Not
So-
same. I did get in, but they sent it in like August or something. It was
Ah.
way past the deadline.
Yeah.
I already paid for you, York.
And also, I saw York is the second or third biggest university population-wise in all of Canada. So I was like, all right, cool, about to meet some people. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
I think UFT is the only one that beats us, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because we get like 50,000 students a year. From last time I Googled it, it's like 50K, which is a lot of kids. You really notice that on like the weekdays.
I want to say UBC is big too, but whatever. Okay.
I legitimately have not seen anything about UBC.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why a UBC listener or a student would be listening in on this, but it's like I legitimately know nothing other than the fact that it stands for the University of British Columbia. Otherwise, I know nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So, onto our topic. So, for this podcast, me and the team, we really wanted to take the podcast in a different direction than in previous years. We've decided that we should really be doing topics that the students like would be directly affected by. So, in the future, we're going to be talking about different majors, things to watch out for, and a bit of special and fun episodes along the way. So. For today, we're going to be talking about the first year experience, our experience. So this is for you first years. So the reason why I really want to talk about this is because university is an incredibly drastic change from high school. Like, for me, things went really, really bad. I'm gonna be honest, I failed quite a lot. Like, not just in courses, but in things that I really didn't do. And part of the reason is because of the drastic change from high school to university. But I really know the big factor was COVID for me. COVID really affected my mental health a lot. And I really wanted to do this topic in order to really mitigate the mental health stigma surrounding the topic. And I just want to let everyone know it's okay to fail. And as long as you rise above it and learn from it, that's what matters. And I want to give you the lessons that me and my fellow team and my guest here has accumulated so that you can hopefully do better, honestly, than I did. So I
What
want to
courses
ask,
though? Like what courses would you consider really hard for first years? I feel like that's a really important information that a lot of listeners would appreciate.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so actually, let me pull up the degree checklist.
Oh my God, you're legitimately gonna go there, huh?
I mean,
You have
do
the
they,
resources.
do they want
as
to?
well.
Do they want to know or not?
I mean, there's no reason to like tell your exact grades, but
No. I had just a checklist of the courses.
oh, okay.
But so
Yeah, go ahead and check. I'll tell you while you're pulling that up. The main course that I really struggled with was linear algebra, because in first semester I found, this is just my personal opinion, but I found that most of the courses were just high school review. Like Calc 1 was just derivatives. It was really simple. Physics 1800 was just dynamics and very basic, like just using assumptions. You have to use 1-2 equations for most problems. It gets complicated near the end, but you know, at the beginning it's all right. 1025 was the first course that I got introduced where it was like new content, and I didn't really click that it was new content because all the other courses weren't new content. So when I eventually like started, like I won't lie, because linear algebra was so boring and I wasn't understanding anything, I started to skip class, which is a really bad idea in retrospect. But basically, like, it was new content that I didn't realize was being taught, and I never went back and reviewed it. I just thought that it would just be expanded vectors, because that's what the first week was. But literally after the first week, those guys pick up. There's new stuff every single time. It was crazy. That one was like where I really struggled academically in the course. And then physics 1801, but that's just electricity and magnetism sucks in my opinion. That's why I didn't pursue electrical.
Yeah, I thought I was good at physics and math until university. 1801 destroyed me, man. It actually destroyed me. I worked so hard on that.
Who's your
course.
prof?
I had Jerzak initially, and then I withdrew it and I retook it during the summer. I did fairly well afterwards. I'm not sure who, but she was a really, really nice
Was it
professor.
like poor something?
I'm not quite sure. I actually don't remember. It was so long ago. But 1801, like, it's accumulative of all the math that you learn, plus a bunch of new content.
And then
like,
theory.
theory is it's absolutely insane. But the real killer is discrete math.
Yeah, I never took it, so I can't say. Did all three of you guys take discrete?
1801 and discrete math were both bonkers for me.
Yeah, I believe the physics 1801 was definitely a course that caught me by surprise. You're right. It took a lot of combinations, so like calculus, it had some physics theory, but the discrete math, bro, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, everything else is pretty okay. The only other course I really had an issue with was chemistry, and that's really because I was never really good at chemistry in high school.
Mhm.
But it really is mostly just high school review.
My
feel.
professor blessed me very nicely for
Really?
my grade. Like my grade changed 3 times on my transcript, I think. It was really weird. Like I guess I could say it because like it's an alright mark. I started with a C, and then she upgraded it to a C plus, and then I finished with a B. And I like it changed 3 times because I kept going back to my transcript to check other courses that hadn't released their marks, and I noticed every single time that it was just changing. I'm like, well, what's going on? Apparently, like in my year, a lot of kids didn't do that well on the exam. So she curved the exam by a lot, made it worth a lot more if you did really good on it. And like, I guess just be honest again, both midterms. I think there were 2 midterms in that course when I took it. I got like one of them I got a 50 and the other one I got a 46. It was pretty bad. Still a fail in one of them. And then on the exam, I studied my ass off. I got 78, and I finished the course with a B.
That's good. That's good.
Like
That's good.
some professors are just nice, right? And to really like Ray, my professor, is really good for if you're iffy on a course, because later years, not in first year. Right now, you don't have the luxury of choice, but in later years, there's certain courses that you could decide between taking first or second semester, and if the professor's different, you might as well just take it in the second semester if they're better. Assuming you can get a spot. It's really hard to get a spot if the professor's good. But that's a very good tip just to keep an eye out, is to keep an eye on the professor's ratings on Rate My Prof.
Yeah. So questions for everybody. Overall, how was first year academically and like mentally and everywhere else? So I suppose I'll start. Academically, wasn't the best, but I survived, right? I've done all the first year courses. So yeah. And mentally, because of COVID, not so good. But I mean, I came out of it alive, and I guess that's what really matters. So Jaden, how was your first year academically, mentally?
My first year was pretty, not very good.
Was it just hard, or were you just struggling to get used to the norm?
I was very lax about it. So I kind of just like procrastinated until all the due dates hit. And I was like, oh, I should probably turn these in.
Right.
And also, I wanted to do a dual degree. There's an international engineering dual degree, international development, which gives you bachelor's of engineering and bachelor of arts and international development. And so, like going into the university, I was like, all right. And then I kind of just made my own plan in my head, which was not a very good idea. And I also wanted to do like a bunch of certificates and stuff. So anyway, you shouldn't really do that. You should just follow the schedule they give you. But I ended up taking, like dropping the ones that they wanted me to take, and like sneaking around kind of to be able to take the course. And so I took it. It was a 9-credit course that ran throughout the full year. And then I realized probably midway into the winter, I didn't like the course. So I dropped it.
In the winter?
Yes, midway into the winter.
Dude, that's a semester and a half.
Yo, that's crazy.
That it took you to realize that you didn't like the year-long course.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, all the boring stuff came later. Anyway, I realized that wasn't for me, so I withdrew from the course. So I didn't get the tuition back. And, well, now I have to kind of take another year.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
Was that course like hard near the end, or was it just like you were realizing that you weren't getting the average that you needed?
A bit of both. Like the topics that they started covering was like neoliberalism and a bunch of like crazy
I think it would be more helpful
terms.
to know what course this was.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's called Introduction to International Development.
It was just for like the BA that you needed to do.
Yes, for the dual
BA.
degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I heard about it like when they advertised it to us, obviously, when we were choosing our majors at the end of first year. And I was told by both advising and a few other people that I knew that the main difference is that you don't get any electives. All of your electives get replaced with the business courses that you need to take.
Business.
Like the BA, to get the dual degree, your electives that you have normally, like where you get to go choose out to, where you have to choose a sociology due requirement, 9 credits from this, and you know the electives menu. It's very confusing. We'll definitely get into that one day. But like when we were doing it, I was told, I don't know how factual this is. This is the opinion of me. That it was just the electives that they replaced with certain courses that you needed to take. Like if you were in like MEC, for example, you get an elective in second year. That elective would no longer be there. They gave you the schedule, and that's it. They would replace that elective with one of the business courses you needed to take to get your BA. And that's the only difference that I'm aware of from I don't know if it was like for a different program, like not MEC. One of my friends had to take like an extra course in this semester. I don't know if they were fast tracking or if they were just taking it, like because they had to. But that also happened. I don't know. I personally don't know the benefit of a dual degree. I didn't research it enough. Once they offered it to me, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want more work than being an engineer after
Yeah.
first year.
I could tell you kind of like what I did. So going in, I was thinking, okay, I'll take some of the courses that a dual degree requires, to lighten up the course load as well, because it's a 9-credit course that runs throughout the year. So instead of taking three credit courses, I could take that one, right?
Mhm.
So I ended up not taking physics, physics 1801, chemistry. I think that's it. Yeah. But then I didn't do good in like discrete math, and then I dropped that course. So now I'm quite a few credits behind. And
Honestly, man, like it's not a huge deal.
yeah,
to be
no,
an
it's not.
engineer.
It's not a
Sure,
huge
it's
deal.
not.
No. And like over the summer, I tried catching up again, but
It's better that you don't have the F on your transcript and it's affecting your GPA.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, no, that's for sure. Oh, and also 1021, I didn't do so good in.
What was 1020?
It was-
ECS?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
yeah.
the programming course with where you had to-
Object-oriented programming.
You have
Oh,
to
the
make a
second one.
plant stuff in
Yeah, yeah.
Arduino. Yeah, it was that one.
So, what program are you in again?
Computer engineering.
Don't you have to maintain an ECS average?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 4.5.
How's that going?
It says I'm not over the average, but I think I'm good. I don't
Doesn't
know.
that mean that you're not in your program anymore?
No, I'm still in.
You're still in?
Yeah, I'm still in.
All right.
Complicated. Oh,
Yeah,
we
very
still have to
complicated
talk about our
stuff.
first years.
Yeah.
So we kind of get off track. The entire point of a podcast, but basically, for my first year, I was one of the few lucky, I guess, if you want to call it that had it in person. My first year was in person.
You are
Eh.
lucky. Very.
I don't know about that. Like math courses, no calculators, buddy. You weren't allowed anything. You walked into the exam with maybe a formula sheet, and that's it. You were not allowed calculators for any math courses. The only courses we were allowed a calculator was chemistry and physics, both of them. And so academically, oh man, it was horrible. Like the push from high school. You at the first semester you don't realize it, and then second semester they just push you into the deep end right away with 1801, 1014 with brand new material. All of those courses. I did all right semester 1. Like my average was pretty up there, but my semester 2 average was in the toilet. It was bad.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was better than what you were saying because COVID wasn't a thing. Wasn't stuck at home doing nothing. I felt like during the pandemic, what ended up happening is that you just didn't do anything, right? You were just stuck at home, and it just made you feel like horrible inside because you're like, man, I could be doing something even though everything was closed. You couldn't do anything. So mentally I was pretty good first year. I won't lie. Like it was stressful when my marks that I wanted. Like I do a physics 1801 quiz. I think or test. Sorry, because they were actually worth a decent chunk. Be like, yo man, I did right on it. Like I didn't know a lot of the questions, but I did enough to be able to get maybe a 60, maybe a 70. Comes back, it's a 43. Right? Like those moments where you're like, shit, I thought I did really good. And it's just it's not that good. Those are the moments where like your mental health kind of just plummets. But comparative to online, I don't know actually, because online school, like a lot of people did appreciate online tests because it's just I feel like it's a less stressful environment.
Oh yeah, I certainly did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
certainly
yeah.
did.
Like it's just more comfortable to do your exams and stuff online than it is in person. But
Yeah, because like you're in the comfort of your own home. You're not in like with a room with a bunch of other people. We have to be completely quiet and like no talking. And then like you're just looking at a piece of paper. You only have a pencil, right? And you're just staring at a piece of paper for like 3 hours, right? It's not fun. Like you shake up, and like if you have like severe test anxiety, like it's even worse.
you guys done in-person exams, right?
Oh, I have, yeah, I have.
I think if you have anxiety like that, they could give you, if you could get it documented by a therapist, I believe, who documents that.
Yeah.
Again, my opinion. I think they can give you extra time.
Yeah, there is like student accessibility
Yeah.
services. Yeah.
If you need that, please
Yeah,
look
yeah,
into
yeah,
it. It's actually very useful. I had a few friends that have taken it, and they need the time. It's just
And
don't
it's given to you.
don't be shy or embarrassed that
Or
you need extra
prideful.
time compared to different people. Like it's just everyone walks at their own pace. The facilities are there for you, so just go ahead. So
Sachin.
Sachin, how was yours first year?
My first year was actually, I would say, academically very good, but mentally it was not the best. It was not the best. Uh, with COVID at that time, uh, being online and online tests were actually really good because at that time I was on my computer a lot. So uh, studying online was easy. Studying at home was fun. Well, not fun, but it was
Easier, I guess.
Yeah, less stressful.
Yeah, more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. But I must say, during first year, I was humbled a lot. Uh, yeah, same thing you said. Like sometimes you think you'd get like 90 on a test and you get 60 instead, or sometimes just fail the test. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Since we're talking about COVID, I'd like to. How did COVID affect your first year? Did it make things go better or worse? I'm gonna assume by what we talked about, it went worse. I know that's what it is for me, but the floor is open, guys.
Academically, I did better with COVID. You could argue that like the tests were a bit easier. A lot of my tests became open book, which made it definitely easier to do well on the exam and stuff. So academically, I was doing better, but it was near the end of the pandemic when the government couldn't decide between lockdown and not lockdown. And that's when like it really was just hitting, because 1 week you were fine, everyone was going out, everyone was like having fun. I would meet up with my high school friends on Friday, and then Monday everything's locked down again, right? And that's, it's just like, no one realized it at the time, but that does hit your mental health pretty hard, where you're just constantly unable to do what you want. I know there were loads of people that were really like messed up because they couldn't go to the gym. Like the gym was their safe place. They just enjoyed working out. And then when gyms did like slowly open, I know people that were booking at times at 3 a.m. so they could go work out, right? And it's just overall COVID I would say that it made things better academically, mentally, and also just course content wise. Because you were able to refer to notes for most exams and stuff. Like I'm going into my in-person classes right now not knowing half the things they're talking about. I have to review that to the point where I'm basically teaching it to myself again because I wasn't paying 100% attention. Because you're at home, you have your computer, you pop up Minecraft on the second monitor. What do you mean? It's a joke. I didn't do that. But yeah, it's in that situation. It's what do you do, right? You just got to review your stuff, make sure that before your first test comes, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think COVID really was it really was something special, right? And like I did bad because of COVID, but like all of my friends, they did really, really, really well. And I think a good factor is, like you said, things were like a lot easier. And I feel like with COVID, it actually deals with like some of the drawbacks that you would get from in person. So for example, commute times aren't a thing because everything is online now, right? So you don't have to waste that time. That's time you could be actually doing studying, right? When you're in lockdown, you're completely by yourself, right? So you don't really have any friends to distract you. And if you manage to be disciplined enough with no friends to distract you, right? Which is like something that would distract me, even as disciplined as I am now. Yeah. And I mean, because you're at home all the time, you can't do anything. There's not a lot for you to do. So, I mean, you just might as well study, right?
I cleaned the house after I finished class. Like I just grabbed the vacuum cleaner, just started vacuuming. It kept the house really clean, and it's never been clean since like that because no one does it. It was just me that was doing it basically. And so there were things that I was doing near the end change my mind. Like I would play games like I think any normal person that would play games before did, right? But just staring at a screen 24/7, it was
Yeah.
really bad. I mean, it turned me into an iPad kid. I'll tell you that right now. I can't eat food without watching stuff. I won't lie. I mean, I can. It's not like it's a requirement, but it's like it's much more better to just like pop up a
Yeah.
video and just eat, like watch it while you're eating. Because like I don't know. I don't know if there's like I'm gonna miss out on the time, or maybe I just like to have my mind distracted. I don't know what it is, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, did you guys do high school online?
Oh yeah. So for me, for my year, yeah, I did my second semester, a little bit at the last half online. So it was during March when the lockdowns happened.
Hmm.
So that's when I started doing high school online. And at that point, it was really, really difficult for me to do work because of COVID. And then my school board actually released a message saying, yo, your mark can't go down. It can only go up,
Up.
and you'll have no exams. And I was
Yeah.
like, at that point, hey,
Why
I can-
try?
Yeah, I can sit in my bed and cry now
Mhm.
without having to do work.
Hey Sachin, I'm curious as to international schools. What happened with you there?
Yeah, and I'm also curious because you said you did really well. Was it because of COVID, or are you just a stellar star student?
Okay. So back home, I finished high school, or we'd call it secondary school. I did mine in person. All exams, everything was in person. For York, though, everything was online.
Mhm.
And I would say that online definitely helped my grades. I would say, yeah, COVID definitely made a good impact in the fact that it made course delivery much different, because the way I was used to learning was going to class, taking notes, but I would have no recording of the class, so I can't really even go back and listen to what they say or hear their explanation. I have to rely on notes. So just the fact that the videos were recorded, I could actually operate on my own time to watch this, learn this, practice. I think it truly helped me.
Now, the main thing the reason I wanted to ask that is because I had a realization while we were talking about our first year academically. I found that first semester was a lot of high school review, but a lot of new first years did high school online. And I don't think you learn as well in online as you do in person. So calculus is particularly the main example I want to focus on, because calculus is hard, especially if you have no history to it.
Yeah.
So do you think that, like for Math 1013, for example, was it beneficial that you actually had in-person calculus at back home? Or do you think online would have been no difference? Because like these guys, literally their mark could not go
Yeah.
down. You had no reason to try in high school after they announced the lockdowns.
Yeah.
So for me, I practically did calculus 1 and 2 before I even came here, because our syllabus has more material. So when I came here, I already knew about complex numbers, eigenvalues, all this stuff. Well, I guess that's linear algebra, but for calculus, yes, we did differentiation, integration, we did like all this stuff. We did around circular planes and stuff,
Mhm.
so 2D plane, yeah. So, but at that time it was in person, so I actually had to study. I had to go home every day to practice questions. Like I actually had to go lessons, you know. I don't think I could have done that if it was online, honestly.
That's another reason that he was okay academically once York started, is because the basis for what first year university was already in him. And I kind of want to really hammer that point home, that if you haven't done in-person calculus, it is actually really important for both 1013 and 1014 math, 1013, 1014, that you review your calculus, because that no matter what engineering you go in, that doesn't change. They just build upon it.
As well as physics.
But physics is like, it's physics. It hasn't changed since like grade 11, honestly. I feel like mechanics in the first year in 1800 was grade 11 physics, basically.
Yeah, basically.
I found grade 11 and grade 12 physics to be just built upon each other, basically.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was the same content, just a little bit more complicated, one more wrench in the machine. But yeah, JD, you wanna say
Jaden, what about you?
Yeah. When I was taking courses first year, they would give a nice review, like the high school review. Sometimes it was some courses were better than others, but they still gave a review. So mm, you can actually you can come from high school not really knowing too much, and the review should be able to help you. But it just depends how long they spend on the review, how in depth they go on it. You might need to do some research on your own, or go through the textbook. At the beginning, they'll likely have excuse me, a chapter uh, on review from high school that you can do if you're a little behind.
Well, hello.
Darkness,
We
my old
went-
friend.
went dark mode on the.
All right. Well,
Podcast after dark.
I'm hoping that the lighting still looks good for the live, but
Seems like we're
for
outside
those
now.
for those listening in, the lights went off. I'm gonna hope that everything's still good. So, the main thing I wanted to ask: how'd you find 1013 and 1014? Because I struggled with 1014. Math 1013 was easy as hell to me, though.
First year classes, I would wake up, join the Zoom call, and fall back asleep. So
And that
But-
was like early in the morning too. So you would just not.
yes,
You would just fall asleep immediately.
plonk out. Yeah, stay
Yeah.
up late and wake up and just.
That was the
um,
problem with online school, is that you didn't learn as well,
Yeah,
and
'cause
it's
you
really
just-
hitting hard.
at
now.
least for me, I wasn't motivated as much, and I was playing video games the whole time. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
basically.
um,
No, it's just what it was, right? Like the online school was definitely easier than in-person school, and like obviously professors and all of the, I guess you could say the head of the universities know that, and that's why, again, rumors, don't know how true this is, but they did make it so professors have to go in person with exams,
mm,
so they can't do online exams. So I think I don't know how if that's changed. This was last year that we were talking about, because last year in second semester, when you know how everyone was like halfway through the semester, everyone was brought back. It's because of that. It's just the school said, all right, let's start the process of bringing everyone in person. But engineering was one of the first to do it. Like first semester, they already brought back tutorials, and then of course it was another lockdown. And then second semester, they brought back halfway through the semester, they brought back all of the engineering classes to be in person, and then most other programs, like I think econs classes were still online, because at least a department, or I think it was the econ department, that said that it's being repaired, everything is still being online. So it's just this semester that like it's actually in person, and like you're seeing loads of people on campus.
Yeah. So, I mean, since we're talking about Mustafa, since you brought up like why people are doing well and things like that, I had an interesting question. It goes out to everyone, but more specifically to you.
Hmm.
Why do you think that some people excel in high school but struggle in university, and vice versa? Right? Because I mean, I was a pretty decent student when I applied myself. But now in uni, at least during first year, I'm a lot better now, but I really fumbled. So why is that?
I mean, it's a combination of a lot of stuff. It's dependent on the person usually, but like there's a lot of people that get an ego or like kind of a confidence boost from being able to do so well in high school, that they think, oh, university is going to be a breeze, right? Or they see the first week of content and they're like, oh, this is easy. I don't need to come to class anymore. And then they just once the content keeps coming, new stuff keeps being taught, you get behind before you can watch the videos before the exam, literally a day before, take notes. You'd be fine. You have your formula sheet ready and to go. You could even have like problems that you've solved that might show up, and it was just easier, right? But now that everyone's in person, it's just the most people either learned from high school and said like, okay, I didn't do that good in high school, but I made it to university. I'm gonna actually apply myself, actually learn. Maybe some students even just learn better in university, because certain professors teach differently than in high school. I feel like here, if the lecture component is like actually taught by a passionate professor, you learn way more than you would through someone that's just doing it as kind of like a job thing. There's been a few professors that I've had that are like that, and though that passion is real, like you can see it when they're presenting their ideas, how excited they are to show it to their students, bring diagrams to and models to show you exactly what they're talking about. It's just a different mode than what high school was. Like high school, yeah, teachers would try, but it's like they don't have the budget.
Yeah,
University has the budget to like let you do whatever. Plus, you're allowed to have like iPads, MacBooks, laptops, whatever. I did want to bring this up into this podcast, but this is a good segue point to it actually. Digital note taking. I don't know if any of you guys have done it yet. I decided like at the beginning of the pandemic, which was the best decision I've ever made, to get an iPad, and that iPad has come in like really handy, especially with how focused I stay in class now. Before, if I had paper, I wouldn't be that focused while trying to take notes and everything. I would just like, oh my God, the professor's gone to the next slide. I can't copy it anymore. All right, time to go on my phone, right? It was like that during lectures, but now that I actually have the slides in front of me, I always put a star or something on the slide that I didn't finish so I can like come back to it with the professor's annotations or watch the video when it was online. Digital note taking, like you don't need to get an iPad if you prefer Android. Samsung makes amazing drawing tablets, well, not drawing tablets, but like tablets that always go on sale and come with bundles with a keyboard and a pencil. So I don't know if you guys have tried it, but digital note taking is really good for me.
Oh yeah. It definitely is for me too. And it's a good thing that you brought that up because it actually goes well to our next topic.
Ooh.
What a coinky dink. So
Do you guys want to talk anything about digital note taking first
Or-
before we move on?
I'll take pencil and paper myself. I'm an
Really?
ink and quill kind of guy, you know. I like
Old
I like
fashioned.
writing my
Jeez.
cursive on the paper and being able to burn it at the end of the semester.
But why?
Why? I don't know.
Is there just something like classic about it?
Uh,
Because so every student's different, right? Like some students are able to pay more attention to something on their iPad. that they're-
or like he prefers pen and paper.
Yeah.
I'd probably get distracted with an iPad.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you print out your slides and write on that, or do you
No.
just That's the main factor that I had when I was taking classes. That whenever the professor had a slideshow, it was hell to keep up with him with pen and pencil. Like it was just you wouldn't be able to sometimes, and that's the main thing that I've noticed with iPad is that I'm able to quickly do, like even if I just scribble what I want to write after class, I could just read it, try to like squint and understand what I meant to say and properly write it.
I had to learn cursive to keep up. And,
With professors?
no.
I thought you
no.
were joking when you said you wrote in cursive. You're being serious?
Yeah, I learned cursive myself to be able to
Jeez,
just like write faster and make my notes more eligible because I couldn't even read my own notes before. I think it's a problem with guys in general.
Wow,
So, yeah,
that's pretty.
I learned
unique. Yeah.
calligraphy and cursive.
Would you say that's worth it?
Oh yeah, I have a blast writing. I love taking notes now. It's just fun.
But have you tried taking like cursive notes on an iPad?
Oh.
Well,
best
once
of
again,
both
I think like
worlds.
the notifications and stuff would distract me.
I have a
problem.
focus group thing.
You
So
have
iPads
focus.
are like you can turn on this focus thing where like if you open a certain app, it goes into a focus mode and like it doesn't push notifications to you. When I open up my the app that I use, GoodNotes 5, if for anyone wondering of what a good app is, I recommend GoodNotes 5. Whenever I open that app, it just goes into school. That's what I have set to, and I get nothing. I have to go through my phone in order to actually see it. I've missed a few important calls because of it, but I don't care. I'm not going constantly looking at my Instagram group chats. So, what else do you really need? What about you, Sachin?
Me personally, I am a pen and paper kind of guy.
You too, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, I love
okay.
pen and paper. Something about the feel plus, just writing your notes in general is great for muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, okay, I have an iPad, I have the pencil, I've tried taking notes, but I realize for class, it's hard for me to take notes on the iPad. I have to use like pen and paper, but when it comes to studying at home, when I study at home, I use the iPad. So I'd have my laptop, I'd have my next monitor or laptop, and then I'll have the iPad. So like one for practice questions, one for the notes, and one for like YouTube or music or whatever I need. And yeah, and in general though, I agree. The iPad, the tablet, revolutionary. Like it it definitely makes note taking absolutely easier. Being able to just write on the slides, much easier.
Oh yeah. It's a good thing you brought this up because that's also something that's changed my life too. I remember in first year, I'd be sitting down at the kitchen table, like reading through my linear algebra textbook and like rereading all the important things down. And I thought I was being so productive, making everything so neat. But then when I learned about this magic revolutionary application called Microsoft OneNote, I realized that I could just use snipping tool, just take snippets of the things that are important and just copy paste it down into OneNote, right? And it saves so much time rather than just writing it down by myself. And then, the professor would give their lecture slides so I could write things down about it. I took a course recently called Electrical Circuits, and what I would do is like if I had any like sort of questions or something confused me in the lecture notes, I could copy it down, put it in like a separate page, or write stuff down. Like digital note taking has also changed my life as well. It saved so much time, and I can like easily practice. I don't have to like erase because with Microsoft OneNote, it just erases things automatically for you rather than pen and paper. It's just it's changed my life, bro. I could never survive university without my online.
I do have to say though, when I was doing courses online, I would like to do or I would prefer to do the quizzes and the tests and the assignments on like a drawing tablet, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
What happened with me was that you mentioned this, and I just remembered that one of the best features about digital note taking is that if you ever need to rearrange something on your page, like you wrote something and you're like, oh man, I need more space. Lasso tool that, bro.
Yes.
Move that
Yeah.
somewhere else in the corner. Oh my. I cannot stress this enough. How many times I've tried to do that on my in-person exams. I write something, I'd be like, oh man, I need more space. And then I'd be like, shh, can't. Gotta erase it.
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
It's actually so
And also
annoying.
the erasing is a lot easier
Yeah.
because you erase like whole strokes instead of like,
Yeah.
That's
I
what
actually
it is.
prefer the normal erasing where like I could
Ah.
choose specific line, like what I want to erase, because sometimes like, you just want to erase specific parts of the word because it's close enough, or like, that's close enough to an R. Let me just get rid of this one part. That type of stuff. So I prefer that, but all of these apps, like you choose which one works best for you. All of them, I believe, now have trials. OneNote is already free with York, but most of the other note-taking apps have trials.
Yeah. So this is the topic I really wanted to move on to. It's things that went well during first years, and then like things that went terribly. So I'm gonna go down the list of things one by one, and then maybe you guys can give your thoughts on it, and maybe decide whether or not it went well for you too. So for me, for first year, things that went well. Even though I worked inefficiently and even though I couldn't work at times, I feel like I had excellent discipline. I did work even though I did not feel like it. I would work long nights, wake up early in the morning for class, and because of that, I didn't get enough sleep, but I made it. So, yeah, my fault. So yeah, do you guys feel like you had good discipline
no,
first year?
No.
no, not at all.
No, with me is not discipline, because I really did not have good discipline in first year. It took me a while to actually form the discipline needed to pass university courses. But what the main thing that I got from first year, which is I still have to this day, and I'm so happy, is that I made friends. And those friends, even if they were just by passerbys, most of them are nice enough for if you need help with a certain topic and they get it, they'll explain it to you. And you don't realize how powerful it is to work in groups like that until you actually go into a study group and actually study. It's great. They're still around, which is amazing. My brother went into university first year online. He went in between 2021 is when he entered, and yeah, this guy bro, he wasn't able to make friends. He had Discord friends, sure, but if he never needed anyone in person or anything to help him with something or topic, he'd have 3 people he'd be able to resort to, because in person you meet people, right? You don't meet people through online class. All you see is a fun profile picture if they have it, and then their name.
Yeah. I feel like that really dealt a blow to people's mental health as well, because people felt incredibly lonely during the pandemic. It was a very, very serious problem. For me, I managed to make friends, like really good friends. Like I had a good time with them, and it ended up like leading into in person when things like actually started to open up. But I'm an extrovert, so I had to get incredibly aggressive with it. I would just random message people. I'd be like, yo, just join the group chat, and then I'll just start talking and talking and talking. And I already had a leg up on everybody else because I already knew some elementary school friends and high school friends that were going into university with me as well. So I actually kind of had that advantage, right? So in that respect, I was incredibly lucky. What about you two? Friend making, how is that?
Yes, I cannot stress this enough. Making friends in first year or just throughout university in general, very, very important. You can lean on these guys, all right? You don't want to go through university alone. You want people to help you.
Lean
Yeah.
back, by the way. Like, don't just take it as a one-way street. There have been a few people I've met that would be like, oh yeah, just can you help me out with this? I'll be like, yeah, of course. And then a month or two later, I need help. They won't help me. Like, that's not cool. If someone is helping you out, try, like, you don't need to repay them the same way. There's no reason to pay them or anything like that. But it's just like if someone asks for your help, right, and you know the topic, just explain it to them. Or even if you don't know it, just going at it with another person, perfect.
It's great to bounce ideas off of each other and like even study together. And if you're not too comfortable with the topic, but maybe someone you know is, they can probably explain it to you differently. Like a lot of the time for me, the professor didn't exactly explain it very well, but my friend who did a bunch of the questions, he was able to explain it to me like in no time. And he could use like because I knew this guy from like elementary school, right? So he's able to use kind of metaphors and stuff, just like inside jokes to explain concepts and things to me. So
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
are very, very helpful in
about you,
university.
I I definitely agree because without friends, I would not be at this point. I swear. Like, okay, so the people that are in my current close friend group are the people I met in first year, literally first term, first semester. And yes, we were online, but the way I met them is through one of our courses, and 10, 11, I think. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's a very
1101.
1101, yeah.
That's a good course because
Yeah.
they make you do group works and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I was put in a guild with these guys, and all these guys in the group. Eventually, I mean, having to work with these people for like 4 months, you build a good bond with them. If you put in effort and they put in effort, you guys could get some serious work done, and then that kind of just like builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely like lean on them and lean back, like.
How do you feel as an international student coming to a place like you haven't been? How was it to make you friends?
Okay, at first it was very scary. Like, okay, because I started during COVID as well, I had no real in-person friends. And even though at the time I was working with these guys in the guild, they weren't my friends yet. They were just like colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
But it's truly when I came to York as an in-person and I finally met them, it was natural. It's
Just
like,
clicked instantly.
yeah, it's like, oh, we work together. Of course we would get along so well.
No, because it's something that you notice, and like you're not the only one trying to make friends. Everyone is trying to
Oh.
make friends.
That leads to me. These are my tips and tricks on how to make friends.
Jaden's tips and tricks on how to make
Let's hear it.
friends.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes. Okay, so engineering. All right, it's a very hard discipline. I'm not gonna lie. And stereotypically, the average engineer is a introvert, and he doesn't talk very much, and doesn't have a very big social life. And well, although that's a stereotype, it's actually pretty true. For the vast majority of engineering students, they're not gonna have the biggest social lives, and a lot of them will even be scared to approach people. But if you follow these tips and tricks that I'm about to give you, you'll be making friends in no time. Okay. first, you want to be very energetic. All right. Even when I was online, I would turn on the face cam and I would laugh along with the professor, and I would talk a lot, and a lot of people just got to know my face that way. Actually, everyone else in the class was very quiet, so me being the only one to talk, everyone knew my name pretty much. And then so we formed like a little study group, and they would all come to me and ask for questions. And well, I mean, I did like the course, so that helped a bit. But I made a lot of friends that way. And then also, okay, so tip number 2, okay, you want to try to meet new people in lecture halls or in the groups, right? You want to like participate, but when you go into a lecture hall and you don't know anybody, or even if you do know people, I always try to sit beside people I don't know. So I would go up to them and I'd say, "Oh, is this seat taken? Do you mind if I join you here? Do you mind if I sit down?" And they would probably be like, "No." And if it is taken, then you'd be like, "Oh, okay, sorry, my bad." And then you go find another seat, right, next to someone else. Yeah, you sit down next to them, you say, "Hey, my name is," enter your name here, and I'll just say Jaden. "Hi, my name is Jaden. Nice to meet you. What's your major?" You start talking to them a bit. You use the 5 W's. That's my tip for conversations. You go through the 5 W's and you can talk with them endlessly. Just
What are the 5 W's, Jaden?
who, what, when, where, why. Who are you? What's your name? What's your major? When were you born? I don't know. You can
Why
make it
you
up
here?
as
He
you
just
go.
needed a cool reason to say the 5 W's.
Yeah. Why are you here? I don't know.
Yeah, but as an
Why are you
expert
here?
conversationalist, I can say these are incredibly good tips.
Yeah, Jalen,
It's-
you're teaching me something right now. I swear.
You need to have the confidence. I feel like a lot.
That's
of,
another big thing. Confidence. You should give the rest of the tips.
No, because I'm personally a little bit. I kind of adopted this introvert extrovert personality from my
Yes.
friends once
Yeah.
university started. Like a lot of my friends are extroverts, and because I was introverted, they pulled me everywhere. And so I'd have days where I'd be like, "All right, yeah, I'm down to go like hang out with some friends," and other days I'd just be like, "No, I'm good. I want to just hang out and in my room and just chill." Pandemic definitely changed that, but before then, like even I could like I would answer questions, but I'm scared of just getting stuff wrong.
I was actually I'd say very similar because I used to be a very heavy gamer.
Yeah.
So I would like sitting through class, I would wait for the bell to ring, and then I just fly out the door and run home and chug through like 10 hours of Minecraft, go to bed, wake up, and repeat the process.
No, everyone chugs 10 hours of Minecraft
Oh,
for
yeah.
2
Oh, yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that's enough Minecraft for
I played-
3 months.
I played way too much, man. Oh man. Anyway, yeah. So I wasn't a very. Well, I was extroverted in certain senses, but in other senses, like I kind of just like stay at home. I don't want to say stay at home mom because I'm not a mom, but what do you call it? Like a cave hermit or something.
I
Yeah,
feel like
anyway.
that's a
Like an inside person. You're just an inside person.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
a
used to
nicer
be the
way
inside
of putting it. A cave hermit could be seen as an insult.
Yeah, cave hermit. But now, I try to force myself to talk to people. Like I remember just going up to picnic benches at the outside Very Hall, and I would just ask if I could join them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, sure." It didn't really matter, or they didn't really care. And then I introduced myself and met some people that way. I don't really talk to them too much, but it was just fun.
Nah, you're wild for
Yeah,
that.
dude,
Because the
wild, yeah.
confidence that you
Crazy.
need to pull that off.
I force myself, man, because I love talking to people. It's actually really fun.
Yeah, me too. Like, like I would like literally say hi to random people I don't even know sometimes, and just make conversation with them sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? It's just it's so much fun, and you learn so much about people that you never knew before, because life is just so different. Like, it's crazy. Like, you guys know that meme where it's like your siblings, if you have siblings, they're like side characters in your life. You're the main character, but to them, they're the main character. They're living entirely different lives. than you, right?
There's a word for that realization, but I'm forgetting.
Yeah,
what the
I
word
forgot what
is.
the word is, but it's like it's absolutely insane, and people will open up to you if you talk to them, because we're social creatures. We really, really want to. So as long as you make the effort, like, you will make friends, and you want them, right? And they want you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
buddy up.
It's a two-way street with most first years. Is that every single person is trying to make friends in the first month. It's just if you're not an outgoing person, which I've seen when, even in my year when we were all in person for first year, there's certain people that never really made friends.
Yes.
And you see them all the time. You know their face. You've worked with them before because you have to work on group projects. But they have it like every time I see them, I don't want to like assume anything. But they're by themselves, right? And I can't like. I don't know if it was just a pandemic or if it was something else, but I can't just openly go up to people and do that. If I'm introduced to someone and once we start talking, they kind of reciprocate how I'm talking, and like kind of I hate using this term because it's such a weird way of saying it, but if they give back the energy I'm giving out, it's
Vibe check.
basically. Yeah, literally. And it's just that's when I'm golden. That's when I know I'll be able to be friends with these people. It's just a lot of the times you either have to find someone that you vibe with like that, or you have to make the effort to vibe with people like that.
Another really good way to make friends is to join clubs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
So-
the
the clubs
Lasan
list.
Engineering Society. That's a really
yeah,
good
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I think
Shout
you
out
guys
to
should
the
join that
Lasan
one.
Engineering Society.
Yeah. That's how I met Jaden. So he's one of the boys now. So.
Yeah, I met Keandre and his friend group, and I'm friends with Sachin and a whole bunch of other people. Met
You just meet
Syed.
people
Oh yeah.
and there, yeah, and just that is me. I just need to confirm.
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Mustafa Syed.
No problem. Just they'll be so confused if someone was listening and like paid
Yeah.
attention, and there's like, who did he just mention?
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like an engineering club. You could join any club you want. There's like hundreds of clubs at the university.
There's
Like,
a
I s-
list somewhere, no?
Oh yeah, you find a list online. Like, I even started my own club. I'm not gonna plug it, but
Why not?
if you want, you can maybe try finding it.
I'll find it.
Give them an
This is the
assignment.
LES podcast, not my podcast.
So listen, you have to join every club until you find Jaden.
Yeah, that's how it is. No, but yeah, every club will host their own events, and it's a really good way to meet people. Like at LES, they'll do pub nights. Sachin's the director. Maybe he can fill you in later on
Oh,
that.
seriously?
Yeah.
I need to. I need to
Yeah.
show up for the next one.
Um,
Have you? There was a Marxist pub night a few days ago as well.
Actually, no, I didn't go to that one.
You didn't go to that one? Yeah, I didn't
No.
go either. I was thinking of going, but I'm just like, I saw them handing pamphlets out, and the crowd did not look appealing to me. No offense to them; they're probably wonderful people. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but it's just, I don't know. It was something off about the crowd that was there. That I was just like, yo, this is my opinion, not the opinion of the Lasan Engineering Society. Need to confirm
Yeah,
that.
we don't claim him, guys.
But it's just I decided to just skip the pub night. I also don't know what they were doing, like what they end up doing, because I know that LES gives out drink tickets, but I don't. Their pamphlet didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, no either. But anyway, yeah, like I even went to like an international club, York International. They had coffee breaks, met a lot of international students that way. And they're pretty fun. Every week they did something different. Like I learned salsa dancing from that, and I did the tango. Oh man, it was a blast.
Did you
And-
go to one too?
No, but I am extremely interested right now, and I would love to go to some of these events with you.
Yeah, and just recently, it was a Mid Autumn festival, and this like Christian club, CCF at York was hosting it in someone's backyard. I went there. I got some.
What do you
like,
mean
free
someone's
food.
backyard?
Oh, it was one of the guys that from the club. They're just having it in their backyard. There's a group of people, and they just had. It was like a dinner. It was pretty cool. But they tried converting me to Christian. So.
Bro, you went to their house, ate their food, and you didn't accept their religion? What's
That's
wrong
true.
with you?
They told me to come on Wednesday. I was like, oh, I'll think about it.
Please tell me you weren't the only one there.
Everyone else was from the club. I was just an outsider.
Oh no.
I didn't mind though. I mean, they're all very nice people.
Oh yeah, for sure. A great way to meet people.
You're
Yeah.
the long lost
Yeah.
sheep, or they gotta return you.
Met a guy. I played Valorant with him yesterday. So
Yeah. One last tip for making friends. If by some miracle you are like grade 12 watching this, go to Frosh. Go.
Oh, Frosh is sick,
Do it.
but big but A lot of frosh activities. Depends on where you go. Sometimes. I'm not pointing fingers to anyone's frosh. Sometimes it's a bit boring.
I mean, you'll still meet people, and that's really the
No,
important
absolutely.
part.
You'll meet people.
You can
but
bond over the boringness.
That's
You guys
true.
can both
True.
poke fun at it.
It's
yeah.
only, I mean, even if some of it's boring, right? You can make fun out of it.
Fair enough, yeah. And everyone is trying to make friends in Frosh, and they keep doing group activities to help you
Exactly,
find friends.
exactly.
But as someone that didn't attend Frosh because my parents didn't allow me, I met my friend completely through accident. Like the main friend groups that I like to hang out with, it was quite literally I showed up to class one day. I showed up to orientation on the Tuesday for orientation. I sat next to him because I was late. I wanted to get my YU card, and I was already in line when the time passed by, and I'm like, yo, I'll be 5 minutes late. I was half an hour late. They took forever at the line, and there's no way a grade 12 is listening to this. In case, just send your photo in for your YU card. It's not worth
Yeah.
waiting in line.
Yeah, it's not.
And so basically, I ended up showing up late to the orientation. A lot of the desk people were able to just give me everything that I needed, and I quickly rushed in. And so I spoke to him, like, hey, man, what I missed, I'm this late. And he just quickly explained to me what I missed at the orientation. And then about a week later, I had Calc 1, Math 1013. And I sat down because my bus came early. So I sat a little bit early, and I looked to my right, and it was the same guy. And I'm just like, oh, hey, it's you. And he goes, oh, my God, it's you. We did not know each other's names.
Sorry. Yeah, that was another tip I forgot to mention. Consistency is key to keeping friendships. So you might meet someone once and get to know them a bit, but you might never see them again. This university is huge, right?
Yeah.
However, if you keep going like to the club events and you see them there each time, or
A lot of the engineers have the same first year schedule.
Yes.
So if you just decide to meet up with friends in your first year classes, like just, oh, that guy seemed cool. Maybe you talk to him a little bit and just go join them in the class that all of you are taking, because everyone's takes the same amount of classes.
so you want to be punctual and maybe keep going to lectures. Me, I was very inconsistent. I'd go to one, then I'd skip 3 and go to another. So I wasn't able to meet too many friends at the beginning.
I've been
Um,
seeing that a lot with younger kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like younger. No, I don't want to say kids because that makes me sound extremely old. But like younger, like first or second year classes, they everyone leaves after a bit. No
Yeah.
one stays, and I'm just like, yo, like I understand it's boring, but the amount of regrets I have for skipping certain classes,
Oh,
it's pretty up there. Like they pile up. They pile up.
Yeah. So make friends, guys.
Go to
And
class. He said, "Yeah, go to class."
yeah, and do that too.
Stay in
Uh,
school, kids.
So the last thing that went well for me was I learned how to exercise. I mean, like
yo.
I knew how to exercise, kind of, but like exercise really it did help with my mental health a lot, and like my calf game is like super strong because like I've been just
Oh,
I just went out and jogged a lot. And,
That's a great flex.
yeah.
For the audio only listeners, Keandre is built like a bullet train.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
so,
second that.
I mean, anyone want to talk about exercise? I mean, like it helps.
Oh yeah, man! Exercising release endorphins in your brain, and like it's really good for you, man. Like these good hormones, these good. Actually, it's the. Never mind.
But it's true. It's true.
The-
Like, take care of your mind, your body, your health. Emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does help.
I think the exercise, yeah, for sure it helps, and it's just good and healthy. But a lot of people, they find other ways to get the same effect from exercise. There's different ways. You don't necessarily have to exercise.
Well, tell us the ways for our viewers.
I have no idea, man.
Well,
I wish I could tell you the secrets of being happy while you're in university,
what
but
do
I
you
don't.
do?
happy,
What do you do?
making friends.
Yeah, I mostly just hang out with friends. I won't even lie. Like what I've recently done is that I wouldn't know if this is happy or yeah, I would say I'm pretty content with how university is going and everything. But I'm just kind of stressed about how. Actually, this is a good segue point. If you need to lower the amount of courses you're taking. Split up your year if you need to.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Don't
That's a good.
don't think that you need to graduate in 4 years. You can absolutely take an extra year and it doesn't do anything. It's in MEC. You have, if you take an elective in second year, you have to take 6 and 7. 6 courses in the first semester, 7 in the second. If you take the elective, one of them is going to have 7 depending on which elective you take. They expect you to take it in the winter, but you could take it in the fall. So how are you doing 13 courses in 1 year? Right? And they're all different topics. They're not connected to other. You've got dynamics, which is like, dynamics. Then you've got fluids, heat and flow. Then you have thermodynamics. Like those are all 3 courses that I've named, and they're different, completely different. How are you supposed to study for them when you have the midterm in the same week?
What really helped me was someone telling me that it's actually uncommon for an engineer to graduate in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
4 years is like the regular time for a degree, but for engineering, they'll do a co-op, or you might fail a few courses, take an extra year. So a lot of people, they won't really graduate in the 4 years. So you don't have to worry about your friends leaving you behind or anything, because it doesn't matter when you graduate as long as you do, right? As long as you get that iron ring.
University is a marathon.
Take
not
as
a
long as you
race. Yeah,
Yeah.
take as long as you need. Right. All right. So now let's go into the things that didn't go so well for me. I wonder if anyone shares my sentiments, or maybe it's just me. So let's see. I didn't get my proper 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is really important. Now, obviously, there are going to be some nights where like a bunch of assignments will come, and maybe you'll have to stay up a little late. But in general, you should be getting proper 8 hours of sleep, because you're going to have to wake up early in the morning and you will regret it. So I know you're tempted to watch, like, to finish like Stranger Things season 5 when it comes out or something, right? But like, don't just sleep, right?
Yeah.
Like it helps you remember stuff with your memory, and like it helps with like your brain and your health function. So I'm wondering, did anyone skip sleep, or was that just me?
That reminds me, because I have an hour commute to get to
Yeah.
class. So
Is it the TTC?
yeah, TTC.
You can't sleep on that.
No, yeah, I mean I can. But
Really?
Yeah.
You're crazy. I can't sleep on the
Actually,
subway. I take the Go bus, and I can sleep on the Go bus.
Oh, but not TTC.
No, because the TTC is a subway.
Yeah, you can't sleep on the subway.
No. It's the subway keeps stopping, starting. Plus, the seats are oriented weird. You're basically on a plane when you go to a Go bus,
You
because
can't
the
sleep on
seats
a
are so
plane either.
comfortable.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The seats are just incredibly comfortable on the Go bus. I've passed out on a Go bus without realizing. Like, I literally went like, all right, I'm just gonna go on like. Well, I put on my music. I look out the window, and then I just, those sleeps where you just like gain consciousness. You don't even dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be at my destination. I just wake up. I'm like, what happened? Where am I? I look outside. I'm like, oh my God, I'm at my stop. And I have to quickly rush out. It's crazy.
Anyway, if you can't sleep on the subway, what I realized is I could have wrote a question from like, because they give assignments and they give you like a week to do them. So you can write a question from the assignment in your notebook or whatever. And then on the subway or whatever you're commuting with the bus, if you're driving, obviously pay attention to the road, but and you can solve the question while you're in the subway, or you can do a review from the textbook, or do some reading, or do whatever you want. So try to make use of your time, or like listen to a podcast, for example.
That'd
Maybe
be a really good idea.
yeah,
What you should
podcast-
listen to.
Podcasts are fun to listen to just because I've gotten bored of music. Like, I've been trying to find new music that kind of clicks
Yeah.
the same way, but I haven't been able to find it. So I just ended up listening to podcasts on my commute. But the other point where it's like, oh yeah, just do a question on your commute. As much as I would love to, my brain doesn't
car sick?
focus as much on the
Oh,
commute,
yeah.
right? And like motion sickness. If you're reading while you're in a moving vehicle, it increases your chances of getting motion sickness. And so I wouldn't recommend. Well, I mean, if you want to live the dangerous life, on the Go bus, yeah, let me just risk throwing up.
You're not really reading though. I mean, you have the question in your head because you wrote it down in the textbook, and
Yeah.
then you're just kind of solving it while you're on the subway, and you
Like
can write
in your
down a
mind,
few
or you're
things.
like writing it down?
Yeah, in your mind, and you're also writing it down, but you're not
Earlier
doing
years,
too much
sure.
reading.
Earlier years, sure.
Yeah,
but
personally,
not in the later
Oh.
years.
That may work for you. I'm not sure that will work for everybody, because like if you have to wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. in order to make it to like an early class, I don't think you're trying to do
I just sleep
integral
on the train.
calculus on the bus before you have to listen to like a 2-hour lecture. I really don't think you.
Well,
Listen.
I'm just saying for like discrete math,
Listen.
because a lot of them are logic questions, and if you know how to do logic, like just the tables, the truth tables, then you can just do them on the bus.
If your assignment is due 10 a.m. and you have to and you commute to school, within that hour you commute from 8 to 9, trust me, I'm pretty sure you'd be working on the assignment if you haven't before.
Yeah, for sure. At that point, yeah. But luckily, most assignments are due at 11:59.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we don't have to worry about a 10 a.m. deadline. That's obviously can change.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the spare time that you get on the subway, because you get like a week to do the assignment,
Mhm.
so you can use that spare time to be productive.
For sure,
instead of
for sure.
Just like, I mean, sleeping is good. But
Some people are productive on the commute. I absolutely agree. I've seen so many professors just like going over what they should write on their exams and such on the bus. That's that hasn't changed. But the main thing that I would recommend on a commute for most people would be to fall asleep, because you can catch up on your sleep at that moment. Like, yeah, of course, try to get your 8 hours or a good amount. I don't think you necessarily need
7.
8 hours, like seven. Don't
to-
go 6. Don't
Yeah,
go
don't
6.
7 to
8
8
hours
works,
is a
yeah.
good amount.
and try not to fall too asleep on the subway. Like I've done this a few times where I completely clonk out, and then I wake up at 2 stations past York, or I just wake up in like I
VMC.
don't know. Yeah, I wake up past York, not at York Station, so I gotta take the subway back, and that takes a little while longer. So maybe time out your route, and then put the timer on, fall asleep, and then hopefully it rings when you hit York.
I don't know if, well, yeah, you could put a timer for sure. But I don't know if this will work out for other people, but it works out for me where the transit app, you can specify where you're going and it will alert you on your headphones. It'll like lower the volume of your music or whatever that you're listening to, and it'll be like approaching this station.
Oh, but I mean,
Google
like
Maps
if
does
you
the
lose
same.
consciousness while you're sleeping, because
Oh, yeah, it'll wake you up. It'll wake you up because it tells you that it's 2 stops away, and that always wakes me up. Where I'm just
Oh.
like, if I have it, and they're like, well, I live in Mississauga, so I have to go to Square One, and so they'll be like, Square One is 2 stops away. Make sure you get off, and I just like, what? Like, why did my dream just say that to me? But the reason that I don't think it can work on the TTC is because I realized I am one of the lucky few that freedom works in the subway. It doesn't work half like other places, but it works on the subway. And I don't know, like Bell and Rogers don't get bars in the subway. So if like you don't have bars, obviously transit's not gonna work. Plus weak GPS signal, like it'll alert you about that as well.
Yeah, really. I would just recommend everyone just time manage so you don't have to work or do anything on the bus, and just use that time to relax. Get
You
your
know-
hours sleep and just chill on the bus.
You know, you're saying to just do time management, but like every professor says that. I feel like we should give some ideas of what a good idea. Keep a calendar. Keep a calendar. It
Oh,
gives you a
yeah.
good idea of when you need to study, when you have stuff due. I keep catching myself. And yeah, it's just nice to have a calendar.
Or a nice
Listen-
checklist.
Because
That
you're
works
gonna
as well.
have 4+ courses, and you're gonna have a lot of stuff to do for each
Mhm.
course, each lab, activities, etc., etc. You're not gonna remember it all. Your calendar is your best friend. Everything has to go on your calendar, and important dates as well. So if you Google York University important dates, it will include things like your financial deadlines and withdrawal and drop deadlines. Those things are gonna be your best friends,
Mhm.
right? Just keep everything on your calendar. Please do it. You'll love me for it later.
It's really convenient just to like plan out your day when you because you have to then remember, what do I have due? Right, just look at your calendar, see what you have due, and then you're fine. York University actually has a really good calendar on eClass, where all of your eClass assignments, whenever your professor's written in, this is a little finicky, depending on how your professor has set up eClass. So don't treat this like the words of gospel. But if you go to eClass and hit the hamburger menu, which is like the three lines on the top, there's a
Top left,
calendar
yeah.
there. It's called a hamburger menu, but no one really calls it that. So I have to specify what it is. But like there's an actual calendar. Some of you may have seen it, some of you have not. And it'll anytime your professor has a deadline set on their e-class, it shows up there as well. So it's really convenient. I don't want to. I think it's like we're just hitting about the end time. Does any of you guys want to have
He said about an hour and a half we can go to.
an hour and a half? All right then.
Oh,
Well,
gee.
we're
Let's-
good to continue
let's
for
do
a
it.
few
Let's
more.
go. keep going.
Yeah.
That's the
What's the next topic?
Let's go through it a little bit faster. So
No rush.
we still
We're having
we still
good
aren't done.
conversation, honestly.
Pardon?
We're just having good
Yeah,
conversation.
we are.
Yeah.
Bro, we're not even done my screw ups yet.
Yeah,
Things that
yeah.
went terribly. Let's see here. Like I mentioned before with the digital notes thing, I wasted time making super detailed notes when I just could have copy pasted from the textbook. I watched a bed in class, and I didn't have a proper workspace because we worked at home. Guys, like work at the library, like I don't know, maybe if you're okay working on your bed, you'll have to find what works for you. But for most people, they have like a work office if they work remote, because like your body, like it recognizes patterns, right? So if it knows it's supposed to go into work mode at this certain place when like you're at the library, just do that. Let's see.
I think working from your bed is a very limited few people that can do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are more under the impression of, oh yeah, I can do that. And then once stuff happens with your assignments and everything, you realize that you can't, and it's too late at that point. Find a quiet environment to work in. Like either that's just your desk at home, a place at school, late hours, like I would say after like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. York University is pretty empty. Maybe stay for an hour or two just to finish up that what that lecture said, review it, whatever you need to do. Like again, this is all up to the individual person on how they can do it. Just don't be afraid to. Well, this is a really dumb thing to say, I guess, but don't be afraid to put in the time. Like just stay on campus if it's easier, considering that if you have a 1.5 hour commute like I do, right? Sometimes it's just worth staying on campus, wait for your next faster bus, like whichever one gets you home faster. So just don't be afraid to stay on campus.
Make some friends.
Make
Listen
some
to a
friends,
podcast.
go to-
Public campus, bro. Go study. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
empty places on campus to
Yeah,
study.
there is.
Actually, what surprises me is that I talked to a lot of people and like upper years, and a lot of them have never been to some of the buildings at York. I think one of the things you should do in your first year is just explore. The campus is at least Kiel campus. Glendon's also big, but Kiel is a massive campus, and it has a tons of buildings and tons of resources you can use. So really explore and find like cool places to hang out or the best washrooms.
I've forgotten what they're called. Maybe you guys can help me remember.
Best washers. I just caught that.
Yeah. Everyone has preferences for the washrooms, man.
Absolutely. Oh man, I low key want to like
Best
tell you
restaurants.
guys a good place to go to the washroom if you ever need it, but I like it, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it a secret.
Yeah, let's get it. Too many
What
people
is
are
this
going to use it.
conversation
Some
right
bro,
now?
okay,
it's
it's
true.
just
It's true.
it's just personal preference
Yeah.
sometimes, but we're not gonna delve
Yeah.
into this. What I wanted to say was
Keep it
I
your
don't-
secret.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys know about the student tutors? Like for certain courses, they'd be like, "Hey guys, if you need extra help, there's this tutoring session."
The pass.
Is it pass or
Pass.
peer?
Pass.
It's pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass
Peer
tutoring.
assisted study session. I think.
Yeah, pass is really nice for a study session if you're really behind or if you don't know what's really happening. Don't be afraid to ask your TAs during
They're
tutorials.
pretty chill, the TAs. Because
Yeah.
they've been, I mean, they're recently students, not like the professors who have
Yeah.
gone through their PhD and everything. So they're pretty chill with you.
So you could go to those. You could go talk to a TA during your tutorial, because those tutorials are there for that reason. It's like you have more one-on-one support from the professor, because sometimes you have like 400 classes, like 400 students in one class, right? So you have to don't be afraid to ask your TA. I know a lot of them can, well, yeah, a lot of them can be kind of cold, like they look distant. I think
The
that's
TAs?
nice. Yeah.
They
I
look-
found a lot of TAs are like not difficult to talk to per se, but hard to approach. But once you approach them, you're chilling. Like they'll help you out, very nice and everything. I will also say that TAs are TAs. They are at the end of the day they are students most of the time, and they can make mistakes. So make sure that you confirm through other ways as well with either the TA or through your own means of the information they told you. I've had TAs tell me wrong information before, and it's cost me a lot. Well, I wouldn't say it's cost me a lot, but it's cost me some marks that I could have gotten.
You didn't quote the TAs when you talked to Well, I
No,
guess
the-
their word is not set in stone.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. It's also not just that. It was like basically I asked the TA to explain the concept. TA explained the concept. Concept came on the test. Got it wrong on the test.
Oh.
Asked the professor what I do wrong. Professor actually explained how you're supposed to do it. I made a wrong assumption because the TA told me that assumption was correct. So it's you just gotta do a little bit of extra research. It's just
Fact check the TA.
fact check the TA. Most of the like in the earlier years, I'll be honest, in the earlier courses, in the first and second year courses, the TAs don't make mistakes. It's usually in the third and fourth year courses where they like it's complicated, right?
Yeah.
And they're humans at the end of the day, so they can make a mistake on complicated subjects. And so, in my specific case, mine was with fluid dynamics.
Oh, fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go through one more thing, and then after we'll really get into the tips and tricks I've written down that I think are going to be incredibly integral. So
right.
if you've
Integral,
been,
that's a good one.
so if you've been sleeping, wake up now. And it means you didn't get your 8 hours, so make sure to get those. So
How dare you fall asleep to our voices? What
that's
the hell?
true. That's true. So the last tip, the last thing that went terrible, I would say, is that I tried to take the easy way out, and I did the bare minimum, right? Like, you have to do the work, right? Like, here's the thing. In high school, university, it's a little bit different. So in high school, 99% of it was like learning a concept, and then the concept is usually tied to an equation. You plug the numbers into the equation, and you're good. In university, that will not fly, right? You have to know what you're doing, right? Or you will get punished for it. In fact,
I
mean,
think
I'm not a
punished
fourth.
is a little bit of a drastic word. I think penalized would be a
No,
better
no,
one.
no. Not when you get to upper years. Because my brother was telling me this story where he was taking a test, and the thing is, if you got the answer wrong, like if you wrote down a thing and it was wrong, you would lose marks for it.
Mhm.
Like, so usually you would get like part marks for something, even if you got it wrong, but you would lose marks in one of my brother's fourth year courses. So you had to leave it blank if you just didn't know what you were doing. You had to know what you were doing, right? So yeah, so make sure you do your work, and that actually leads into my first tip.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
First
Go ahead.
tip?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
I had more on the struggle for first year.
Go ahead.
So I got to give a bit of advice. Going into first year, I was very gung ho about everything. I
What
was
do you mean
kind
by
of
that?
just like,
What do you
yeah,
mean by
I'm
that?
gonna do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. But really, you should just kind of stick to the schedule that UARC gives you, even though it sucks most of the time,
Mhm.
right? Like engineering schedules are tough. And there's not really too much you can do about it. I tried getting around that by dropping courses and adding other courses that I wasn't supposed to. And let me just say, I'm going to advise you against that. Just stick to whatever schedule they give you, even though it sucks. And
Well, don't be
yeah.
afraid to drop courses.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to drop courses, but at least try. You could try.
Don't try to
taking-
rearrange your schedule.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
sorry, that's what I meant. Don't try to rearrange your schedule.
Because, well, at least in the first year, the second year and third year and fourth
You
year,
get more liberty, yeah.
you get more room to have a little bit of fun. Let's say.
It's sort of like high school. Like at least in my high school, grades 9 through like 11 were mostly what the school wanted us to do.
Yeah.
It's like we needed to take math, we need to take English, we need to take science.
And then grade 12, it was just English.
Grade 12 was pretty much all electives. You could
Yeah.
do whatever you want, and then I think English was the only requirement.
Yep.
So it's sort of like that, I guess, for engineering at York as well, where the first year, just follow what they do, please.
It's kind of like that, but they still don't give you freedom in the later years. It's rather than freedom, it's more so that
yeah.
you get to like choose tutorials that work best with your schedule, and if you're lucky, and I mean lucky, with how they schedule everything, you can get a day off.
Well, you get to pick the profs, the tutorials,
Well, the professors usually are the same for everything. It's just the main thing that's changed is the tutorial or the lab
Yeah.
time. Like the
lap time.
professors are consistent with engineering courses. If you're taking electives, yeah, that's a different story. Electives are so much more free than the courses that you need to take from engineering to actually get your program. But like if you're taking MEC courses or ECS courses or ESSC courses, right? You're gonna have one professor every semester. There's a slight chance that the next semester version of the course has a different professor, and then you just do it. You have to like do the work.
A lot of time the summer courses are different though than the fall
But
winter.
summer
course.
is like low key dumb because it doesn't have a lot of the courses that you need.
Yeah.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
first and second year, yeah, you'll be able to do most like any course that you fail, you can do it over the summer most likely. Like they'll be offered, but it's like the second you enter third year, there's two third-year courses in mechanical engineering that are offered during the summer out of 11, I believe. I think it's 11. I could be 100% wrong on that, but I believe it's 11. So 2 out of 11, right? Sure, you don't have to offer any, like all of them. There's no reason to offer all 11 out of 11. But like you could have done 6 out of 11 or 5 out of 11. At least do like 50%, right?
Yeah.
And at least do courses that people can actually like finish and do so that they don't have to worry about it in the fall and the winter. But it's just, they don't do that.
Yeah. Thanks for that, guys. Thank you for interrupting me. I didn't know there's something you wanted to say about that.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
let's get into the real meat and bones, right? So I want everybody's thoughts on these tips because I mean this is something I wrote down. It's really subjective, but I want everyone's experience on this. So, firstly, I know me and Sachin personally. We know about this for sure. This tip is something my brother gave me, and it's really helped me a lot. Study alone, review together. What that means is, if there's something new, if you're learning new content, do it by yourself. Go by yourself, watch the lecture, try the practice problem by yourself. But review together. And then when you review, you'll pick up all the slack and stuff like that. Because the thing is that like trying to learn things together is a lot different. Firstly, you can easily get distracted. And like secondly, you're mostly going to retain more so the social interaction rather than the actual stuff you're learning itself, right? I mean, Sachin, we went through it together.
Yeah,
What do you?
absolutely. Like, if you have to learn new and complex things, take your time, digest it by yourself, and come together with your friends to make sure that your knowledge of the topic and their knowledge of the topic lines up.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's so crucial because people learn in different paces, in different ways, and at different speeds. And if you try to learn things together, you don't really have that. So,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's in the cases where we've done really good for like what we needed to learn, we've had we basically made it so that people would look into what was happening beforehand, like get a gist of what we needed to do, and then we review together. But I don't know. There's also like in my case, I just study better in a group, right? Like it's hard for me to focus on what I want to do, but if I'm with a bunch of friends that are working together on something, I'm more inclined to actually want to do it because I'm in a social gathering where we're all working on it together. That's why I personally prefer group work for studying.
Really depends on the group though. Like,
Oh yeah.
if you're in a group of slackers,
Yeah, I'm not in a group of slackers.
That's a good
you know?
thing,
Like
yeah.
I'm following people that are smarter than me, I would say.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, you wanna-
Usually you don't like have to necessarily do that. Like you don't need to make friends that are getting a higher GPA than you or whatever. Just make friends that you think are cool and good people for you. But it's just like remember, don't slack. It's
Yeah.
in university. It's your slacking time is reading week, maybe even not then because if depending on when your midterms are scheduled, and the summer, right? Those are
No,
the times
winter.
when you can relax.
maybe
Yeah.
a little bit. No,
I think winter's a time to actually buckle down and like do even better because when summer comes around, that's when you really see like going through winter. If you slack,
no. I'm sorry. I meant
Oh.
like the
Oh.
winter break.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, winter fall break.
No, because
Yeah.
winter load he is right. Winter load is always more.
Oh, winter load is crazy. Yeah.
And it's just like you guys haven't experienced the winter load yet as first years, but the winter load is it's gonna be your first introduction to what most of your engineering university life is going to be, because
Yeah.
that is like the level of work we had to do for those 6 courses that we had in second semester is about the level of work that we've had to do, and I've been taking a reduced course load to do that.
Also, I forgot to mention, but one of the things about upper year courses is that they require prerequisites from the lower level years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So try your very best not to fail winter courses if you don't have the summer So like you're going on vacation for the whole summer, or you're thinking of working, like I don't know, 2 full-time jobs, for example, or you can't do summer school. Try your best not to fail winter courses, because if you can't take it in the summer, or you do fail in the summer, you have to wait an entire year to take the winter course again. Versus if you fail a fall course, you go through the year and then might be able to take it in the summer, or you could take it in the fall again, and it doesn't impact you like crazy.
Yeah. Also, this is something like it seems super obvious, and I should have done it, but you guys really need to pay attention to it. Read the course syllabus. It is your best friend. And the reason why is because it shows what the assignments are, as well as what the percentages for your assignments are. And that will be really key to your time management. So let's say that you have labs, and overall, cumulatively, the labs are worth like 20% of your grade. Maybe you want to put a little bit more effort in, as opposed to maybe like the 2% like in-class activities. Maybe you can not care about that. I don't know.
You can prioritize stuff knowing the
exactly.
percentages.
If you have a 60% exam, maybe you should focus a lot more than that, than as opposed to maybe another course. Maybe you have like 5% assignments. Maybe you should spend more time there, right?
Do not think that you know how much something is worth based off how much work they're asking you to do. I've had professors give pages worth of assignments for something that, I'm not even lying when I say this, 0%. I had to write a 3-page essay for nothing. They just assigned it to us in the tutorial.
Wait, but if you had, so what would have happened if you didn't do it?
Nothing.
So you
They
didn't
just
have to
wanted us to do it.
Wait, did you know it was being marked like beforehand?
No, so basically, like this was like the most scuffed thing that I've ever done, because a professor just did not contact the TAs to let them know what was happening with the course. But basically, sorry if I kind of went quiet and blocked my mouth.
Go ahead.
But basically, this course that I was taking, we were supposed to have tutorials and 2 lecture points, like 2 lectures that we needed to attend. Professor said, nah, 2 lectures is too much. I'm going to reduce this to 1 lecture. One of the other lectures is going to be a day that I test you guys. So we had weekly quizzes. Okay. We go to the tutorial. The TA is just like, hi, guys. This is the first tutorial. Literally the first tutorial. The guy goes, hi, guys. All right. Today we're going to be learning about this, which was the content of the course. And then at the end, he's like, all right, guys, I need you to write down a 3-page essay on what you guys learned from this tutorial. And we could, me and my friend were taking the course together. So we were both messaging each other like, yo, what did he just say? There was no marks for the tutorial. Like there's nothing there. The only marks that we're getting are the weekly quizzes and the exam. And my friend goes, yeah, you're right. What's going on? So then someone else, I was going to ask, I unmuted myself, but then someone else, this was online school. And then I unmuted myself, but then someone else asked before I could, hey, the course outline doesn't say that the tutorial is worth any marks. So are you sure that this is worth marks? And the TA goes, let me check. Checks the course outline and says, oh, well, as it turns out that it's not worth marks. And we're like, but then why are you assigning us so much work? He's like, the professor told me to assign this to you guys. That's what I'm doing. I don't know why it's not worth any marks. And then that was the only tutorial we had that semester. The only one. The tutorials, every time we showed up, no TA would show up because the professor forgot to contact them.
That's absolutely insane.
I think we got him fired, but I don't know. Because we complained to the department and he's no longer teaching. Like we haven't seen him since.
So that really emphasizes the point of read the syllabus.
Read the syllabus.
And if you're ever confused, I'd say email the professor.
I had a professor talk to us about this, and he makes a good point, but it's horrible that it's worked out this way. He said, you have a problem with the way I teach, okay? You take it up to the department. Department takes 2 weeks to respond to you. And they talk to me. Then they go for a trial period to see if the talk that they had with me worked or not. 2 more weeks go by. During that 1 month of just waiting, basically, you're still getting tested. You're still doing the course. Everything is still going on. And then it's still not resolved. Let's say that it didn't work. Then the department's going to talk to the professor again, give him another 2 weeks of a trial period. And then you're now a month and a half into the semester thinking that, oh, maybe the professor will be nicer to me with my marking. with my tests and everything, and you've wasted a month and a half, right? Just waiting, basically. So what he said is that as much like I know that sometimes I can't teach properly. That's what he said. And I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but he said that like, you know, if I'm not teaching it that well, he didn't actually say like, oh, I'm teaching it like that. That's a bad way of saying what he wrote. I'm paraphrasing. That's not direct quote, but he basically said that it's your duty to make sure that you learn what I'm trying to teach. So if you could go through the complicated process of complaining to the department and getting me either fired or whatever, getting me reprimanded for not being able to teach it properly. But at the end of the day, it's your learning. So if you find that a professor is not teaching you the way that you should, absolutely complain. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you have to just sit there and take the abuse. Complain to the department, but take the time while the department is doing stuff to self-study. Now, you can the way that it works is that you do self, group, professor. That's what he said. And that like you use a professor to learn, and then you use yourself to learn, and then you use groups to learn. And that's how you would actually like properly solidify a new concept that was taught. So that's something that my professor told me, and I really resonated with that because I had to go through exactly what he described, where I had a really bad professor. I complained to the department, and the department did nothing. Like I had to retake the course because I got a horrible mark. I passed, so I was able to take the prereqs, but I have to redo the course.
Gee, that's crazy.
Bro, there's so many times where like the professor just doesn't do what you need him to do or her to do, and it's just you're just like, how is this allowed? Like I took a course that ended in July, still have not received a mark. Wow.
Yeah. See that
I'm still waiting
really
on a mark.
stresses the fact that this isn't high school anymore. In university, people will not hold your hand, and it takes a month just to even like properly complain. You're teaching yourself. You're paying to teach yourself.
It's not like, oh, so sorry to cut you off. But it's not like no one's not holding your hands. Luckily, there is help, but you need to find those resources yourself. No one will take you to them. There's advising that opens every single day on QList that you could choose between an in-person, telephone, or virtual meeting. Like you could do it virtually. They giving you all of the facilities to get the help you need. Those advisors have been my best friends since I entered uni. Like I've just been going to them about every single uni problem that I have. And most of the time, sometimes they don't answer because obviously like they don't know everything, right? They were like, oh, this isn't our department, this is this department, and you have to go through a long, complicated process to contact them. But the advisors definitely can push you in the right direction, and it's just if you can, talk to them if you have any questions about your university career. Whether that's transcript, courses, anything. They'll be able to help you out or guide you to where you need to go to get help.
All right. Yeah. So since we're on the topic of like marks and courses and stuff, make sure to also check your degree progress report and like your degree checklist. So if you like Google it, you can type in like computer science, like 2022 degree checklist, stuff like that. You'll see all the courses that you have to take. And your degree progress report is also like that. It'll really show you where you are and where you really should be going. And that's really, really helpful.
Now, as you say that, right? But which degree checklist do they follow?
The one for their year.
The one for the year. Yeah,
year.
of course.
That you got to mention that because most first years don't know that you follow your year. The year that you entered university is the degree checklist you follow.
No, it's when you declare your major that year.
Oh, is that when it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be that actually, not when you enter.
One of the problems I found is that like for my year, 2022, 2023, I couldn't really find it. So I had to change the domain for the degree checklist to get my specific year.
Jeez.
It's a little absurd, but
complicated.
I ended up finding it, so.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, also, grades. They mean a lot, and then you have to in order to actually graduate. But they're not everything. You can have really bad grades, but you can still do really, really well if you have extracurriculars. So make sure to focus on those. Join a club, right? Volunteer for stuff. For me, I'm part of the Lassana Engineering Society here.
Hey, yo, represent.
And I'm also like a research assistant at York, right? So
Seriously?
these are value. Yeah, I am.
Oh, that's sick.
Lassonde on undergraduate research.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a cool position.
Yeah. So
yeah.
like I'm making big money moves, right? That's a
Ooh.
resume booster. That's LinkedIn.
But here's the thing.
And projects.
Yeah.
I don't know if we, as our podcast, are allowed to say this, but this is a fact that every engineering kid should know or knows.
Go ahead.
C's get degrees.
Of course you're allowed to
Well,
say
C
it.
plus, but yeah.
It's a
That's true.
marathon.
That's
C
true.
plus, yeah.
C
Don't
plus.
forget it's C plus, but it's like C's get degrees, bro. Like it's facts.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
say
Honestly,
that. Like
don't fret. Don't fret if you don't get like A pluses in any class. Like, oh my gosh.
that's like
That
the
really
biggest,
At the end of the
biggest
day,
downgrade.
when you're
to-
applying for jobs, they don't really look at your GPA.
oh, the first ones they do, yeah.
Maybe for your very first jobs, but if you have projects and experience under your belt, they'll
Oh, yeah.
definitely take that over.
My friend
higher
got a job
GPA.
at Amazon off of that, man.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's the passion projects that you can do get you a lot. But speaking on Keandre's point, that sorry, I didn't want to cut
no
you
worries.
off, but yeah, high schoolers. The problem is that they're so used to getting A's and 80s, right? Because that's what they needed to get to uni, and then when they come to uni, they get their first test back. It's a 45. And they
Yes.
start stressing. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god, what
yeah.
am I gonna do? Do I drop
My
this
life's
course?
over.
No. Don't. C's get degrees. It's if there's a hard course, just try your best at it and pass it
With a C
with a C.
plus.
Yeah, and the easier courses, because there are easier courses, get A's
Yeah,
in those
like Ian.
and B's.
Like
and,
E and G, for example, you can get A's in those. Please do, especially because they're worth 4 credits, so they impact your GPA,
GPA
a lot
way more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one of the problems though is that the hard courses you might need to actually pay attention to, like maybe not just barely squeeze by with the C, because in the future years you'll need it as a prerequisite.
Mhm.
Like it'll build on some of the stuff you.
But I feel like with the C, you get the gist of the knowledge enough. Like I feel like the courses that I got a D in, that's where I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But with C's, I'm okay. Like I understand what's happening.
Plus, you have to remember, like the course experience is it's not just like content itself. It's also the professor that's delivering it.
Yeah.
Like I know. So I'm computer engineer, right? So there's this infamous course you have to take called EECS 2200. It's electrical circuits, right? And like the prof, he's beautiful, he's amazing, but the course is just incredibly difficult, and people really, really struggled with 2200. I know I did. But 2210, people found that infinitely easier for some reason. Maybe it's because they went through 2200, right? People can even take the same courses and like experience like different things, right? Like I know I took linear algebra, and I had a lot of trouble with it, right? Like people who would also take linear algebra as well, they say, "Oh no, it's a fine course, it's an easy course."
I don't know anyone who says it's easy. I struggled with linear.
Yeah, like some of my lower year friends, they said like it's just a fine course. For me, like the lectures would be super basic. It'd be like, oh, here's a matrix. Here's how you do these types of calculations, and I'd be following along. But then when we actually get to the assignments, they'd be mixing in graph theory and calculus in there, and I'd be so confused, right? So absolutely do good, but if you get the C plus, don't fret. Just keep going.
All right. I think we should wrap it up now.
Yeah.
It's
Think
heading
so?
the time limit
Yeah,
today.
I think we can edit it down.
Hmm?
I think we can edit it down.
No, absolutely we can. That's not the problem.
or
The problem
split
is the
into
camera.
2 episodes. Oh, the camera's dead.
The camera can die. I don't know if it's dead
we
yet.
wouldn't
I
want
haven't
that. All right, yeah. One last thing I want to say, and this is the point I really want to hit home before we end things. And this is the reason why I wanted to do this. University is not a race; it's a marathon. Okay, so just do your best and just get across the finish line. Because at the end of the day, we're engineers. We're gonna make 6 figures anyway. So we're good. So we're good.
Well,
We're good.
What about you and Jade and Sachin? You guys anything?
Do you guys have any
anything to
final
say?
thoughts?
Final thoughts? Any international students watching, do not be discouraged. It is rough at first. There is some culture shock. But watch out, hold on. You guys got this. And it is a marathon. So just keep your head down and keep pushing.
Jaden?
Jaden.
Life is a lot longer than you think. We live a good 80 years or more. So don't fret if you maybe waste a year here or there.
Yeah, agreed.
You got a long life ahead of you. So don't feel like it's the end of the world or you should immediately drop out because you fail a course.
All right.
Make up for it. And
Yeah. Like,
Persevere.
listen, yeah, like he said, we live 80 years, right? So like,
Don't feel like
It's-
your life is short.
yeah,
maybe.
it's life is long, but it only feels short because of the time we waste feeling sorry for ourselves instead of being a go-getter, right? And I'd like to end it with one quote by Maya Angelou. I really love this. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. So
Yeah, that's a great way to end it.
that
All right.
concludes
Brilliant.
the first episode of the Lasan Engineering Podcast, guys. This has been so much fun. I love you guys so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of good stuff hopefully coming up with you guys soon. We're gonna focus on the programs for the next few episodes.
We're gonna have
and,
lots of really, really good information. So make sure to stick around because we're gonna be bringing people from walks of life that will really help you directly in your academic journey. So you don't want to miss that. So with that, let's conclude. Bye, everyone.
don't
See-
forget to subscribe.
See you next month.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Like, comment, share. Share with your friends if you have any yet. If you have any friends, yeah, share it.